So in this video I'm going to talk about the sub 200 levels, also called the victim/abuser mentality paradigm, or the life happens to me paradigm, because in these levels below 200 you feel that life is just something negative that happens to you, like you're a victim of life, and you don't see, because you don't have the clarity, you can't see that life is karmic reflections trying to get you in touch with all the negativity that you're projecting onto life, and thereby getting reflections back that are actually negative, because you can't see your own negativity at these low levels because you're so lost and so in the dark. So it can be really hard to get up from this level, even if you're just temporarily stuck here, as most lightworkers are, because there are three kinds of people below 200, and the most relevant for people who listen to this video are the people who are temporarily stuck down here, because you're most likely born in the 300s if you listen to this video, because that's what most lightworkers or volunteers for this Earth Ascension mission are. They are born in the 300s, like I was. I was born in 360, I went down to 50, spent a couple of years on level 50, and really quickly turned my life around and went up to the higher 500s in 4 years. So I know a lot about these levels, and I also know that there's a big difference between people who are native to these levels and people who are temporarily stuck. So if you're a part of listening to this video, you probably have been down in the sub 200 levels at some point in your life, and you have tasted these levels because you took on a lot of negativity as you grew up, like we all do, and your system got filled with negativity, and that took you like down to below 200 levels most likely, and you turned your life around at some point, and then you bounced back up again quickly when you started to do inner work and take responsibility and try to change things, right? So that's a big difference between people who are born or basically meant to be below 200. Like many people are born into a life where they're supposed to be below 200. They can't change, they can't move much. They're basically, that's for karmic reasons or whatever reason, they are meant to have a life below 200 at one of those levels, and they can't change. You can't change these people. And that's important to know, because many people in the lightworking communities and these kind of people who are born in the 300s, they think that everybody has the same potential to grow and evolve like they did or do. But that's not really the case. And it can be really dangerous if you get stuck on trying to help or heal or save people in the below 200 levels, because they can easily hold you back or drag you down if you feel pity for them or whatever. Many people can't be helped no matter what. So that's just the way it is. For karmic reasons, they are meant to be in whatever level they're at. And these are the kind of people who are stuck or static in these levels. So basically below 200 you have like these stratas that are characterized by chronic and progressively worse negative emotional states. Like 190 is a level of pride, for example, and you've probably seen such people who strut around and they're oozing pride from every pore, right? And then you have people who are chronically angry, and there's always anger simmering in the background no matter what they do. Maybe they're smiling and happy on the surface for a while, but they always have that massive potential for anger, and they're always simmering in the background with anger. You probably met such people as well in your life and seen them. And you have chronic grief, apathy, guilt, and chronic shame as the very lowest level. And if you get down to those levels, you have like hopeless street beggars and homeless people and these kind of people. That's the lower end of the scale, and then you have serial killers and whatnot also on the lower end of the scale. But they are projecting all the negativity onto other people, mostly at least, and instead of taking it out on themselves, like the alcoholic street beggars or whatever these hopeless people do. So there's different ways of handling the negativity, but you can't help but project some of it out onto others when you're at these levels, because you're so packed with negativity and triggers. But some people handle it by taking it out on themselves, while other people handle it by taking it out on other people and the world. So that's basically the gist of all the main levels below 200, and the whole sub-level below 200 is like a whirlpool of negativity and victim abuser dynamics. And then the third kind of people down here are those who are oriented down the scale. They're on the dark path. And those are the people like psychopaths and whatnot who thrive at these levels, because they project all the negativity onto other people in the world. And that's also the so-called elite, or the dark cabal, or the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call these people, who have been ruling the planet for so many years, so many eons. Those are the people who are oriented down the scale, and they're on the dark path, and they are doing rituals and all sorts of negative stuff to get as low as possible, because that means they can merge with the collective shadow, the collective negative ego, or what they worship as Lucifer. I talk about this a lot in my ebook and also in other videos. You can check that if you want more information, but that's basically a third type of people below 200. They are at the bottom of the scale. They're trying to go as low as possible, and that's what they're doing, that the whole life journey is about. And their twisted form of enlightenment is to merge with the beast, merge with what they worship as Lucifer, or the collective shadow, and trying to create as much food source for this collective shadows as possible, because that's how they gain worldly power. At least they used to, by providing or creating negativity. So they're feeding the beast, and then in a symbiotic relationship they get more and more worldly power by doing that, because they are feeding the beast who have been running the world. The collective shadow have been in basically running things for so long. But now the ascension and all the things happening with the mass consciousness increasing and whatnot, we are turning things around, which is why things are so chaotic at these times, because turning things around means that it brings up a lot of chaos and negativity in the world, and things has to be faced and processed out and whatnot. But let me not digress too much about this, because I talk about this more in my ebook anyway. So basically, what's relevant for most people, if you're stuck down here and you're listening to this video, you're most likely born in the 300s. You have a potential to get up the scale again, so that's what's important. And I talk about how you can do that in my ebook also, and in other videos. You basically have to follow certain things and teachings, and then you can easily reclaim your birth level and even go much higher than your birth level, potentially all the way up to the higher 500s. So basically, in the sub 200 levels, you are really packed and compressed with negativity and triggers, and you're chronically triggered or chronically in a chronic negative state, whatever that may be. And you have very, very little free will, especially if you are native to these levels. Then you have no distance to your mind. You don't see your own thoughts. You basically just run by the negativity, because you don't see inwards. You don't have a deeper vision inside. So you basically run by the negative programming and software, and just doing negative stuff and acting and being a negative person no matter what. And that's difficult to change unless you are willing to look deeper and look at the negativity and heal it and get up the scale. But it's very difficult when you're stuck down below, because it's so dark, you have so little clarity. But it's important to do that if you want to quickly get up the scale. But it's important that also realize that you can't help many people down in these levels, because they're not meant to change. So this basically sums up the below 200 levels, and next time I'm going to talk about what happened when I went from below to above 200, and talk about the 200 levels.